See here. This should be working. All right, so working on this. These. Yeah. All right, cool. That should be set up. That should be set up. I got those guys there. That's loaded. Ah, should be good to go. Hypothetically speaking. Greetings and salutations. It's me, Bobo. So, this is my ongoing series of forcing myself to learn new skills and do various things to become a better GM, better at streaming and various other things. So this is going to be my weekend stream where I force myself to watch more Lancer stuff after reading stuff, so I learn the system better. Lancer TTRPG. You play mech pilots, and you do it in a sci-fi setting. Yeah, this is me just like kind of having a, I don't know, stream of consciousness slash self, I don't know, it's not self-report. What would it be? It's the thing is I'm keeping myself, it's an accountability thing. If I am live, I am actually doing it. So yeah, so I've read the book, I've learned how to play with CompCon, which is their little online thing, and I've read through character creation and also the action economy. So we're going to watch some stuff from Danger Kid, as recall. Let me see here. Yeah, Danger Kid. And for the pilot side, now Lancer has their rules set up in two little factions. Faction 1 section is dealing with the pilots, and that is narrative play. Reading through the book. Basically, as a DM, most of the time I should be, if it's something that makes sense that they can do it, I shouldn't even have them make the roll. You start out with 4 triggers, which are random things that, well, they're not random. They're things like, if you're a smuggler, for instance, one of your triggers could be getting the goods, and things that would be related to a smuggler getting the goods. Or another one they gave for a soldier is applying fists to faces. So anything that's violent, you would get a bonus to that roll. The rolls work by, you got like a d20, 10 or better, you win. The bonuses start at +2, and then you get like +4, and then +6, and so on and so forth. As you level up, you get another +2 to spend somewhere. That's pretty much. You also have Dick for hit points as a pilot. That makes sense because the guns will just kill you, like in real life. And yeah, you should, if you're wanting to do violence on a battlefield, you should be inside a giant mech. I don't see much argument against that anyways. Anyways, see if there's, let me see, switch to that. And that's opening up, then clicky. And this is Dragon Kid 11, Lancer 101, Lancer tutorial series. Rules of the gaming pilot. Okay. That's just a really good effect. I want to learn how to
Hello viewers and welcome to another episode of Lancer 101. In today's episode, I will be talking about what you, Lancers, could do on the battlefield on foot. First, let's get this straight. If you are thinking of, say, Titanfall, in which the pilot
is the true dominant force, fast and agile, graceful yet devastating, perceptive.
Everything I've seen in the mech side, if a mech sneezes at a pilot, they're dead.
Resourceful and relentless, a pilot sees the world differently.
What exactly are you trying to say here, Mr. Narrator? Are you saying that the pilots are fucking Jedi? Anyway, if you're thinking that
from a certain point of view,
your Lancer could do that too, don't, you're gonna die fast.
Okay.
You are called Lancer because you are a damn good mech pilot.
Yes.
You are probably not very good at a lot of other things.
No.
This is your base pilot stat, the bare minimum before you.
Yeah, a lot of weapons start out with like D6s. The evasion and the E-defense, those are the difficulties to hit you. Your size is 1/2. Speed is 4. Speed of 4 means you can move 4 boxes or 4 hexes. They don't give you a ground speed, they just tell you in boxes. I like that. Gets people to be less strange.
You add any armor, weapons.
And also armor is soak. So if I roll a d6, I get a 2, and I have a 2 armor. My armor soaks 2, so I'll get nothing.
Or gears, and as you can see from your health, a lot of things can one-shot you before you could even react. You will get beefier as you level up, but that just means you can afford to make mistakes and not fight head-on against an army of mechs and grunts.
I mean, grit is basically your level divided by 2 round up. So, like, when you get level, you start out at 0, so you have grit of 0. Level 1, you get grit of 1. Level 2, you get grit of 1. Level 3, you get grit of 2. So, like, at best, if you're 12th level, which is the max for the thing, you could have 12 hit points, and I don't even think a single gun on a mech would care.
So, what can a Lancer do? Let's talk about the most obvious thing first. When you are in a mech, you are effectively invincible. You don't have line of sight to the outside, and anything outside doesn't have line of sight to you too, meaning nothing can directly target.
That's another thing. You can't be sniped in your mech. And of course, someone hits the button on my door. Go live. What am I looking at? Okay, yeah, go away. Back to this.
Hit you. This also includes the gun that breaks everything, the Ushapti, because while Ushapti might not even exist, it sure as hell is not impolite. To get in and get out of.
Okay, so that's an NHP and also something from Horus. Yeah, just think for Horus. How do I explain Horus? A good way to explain Horus is if H.P. Lovecraft knew what a computer was.
Of your mech, you can use the mount and dismount action, just stand right beside your mech to mount, you also get out right next to it after dismounting. Both of these actions cost a full action, which is very costly. If your mech is about to be destroyed, punch the ejection seat.
So for your actions in mech combat, because he seems to be like, this is all your things that your pilot can do in mech combat. You get automatically 1 move, just free and clear, and you can pick one, either a full action or 2 quick actions. And if you want to overcharge, which is basically running your mech too hot, you can get another quick action and heat. So this literally getting in and out of your mech takes your entire round. That's not good.
This takes a quick action and sends you flying 6 spaces in any direction, more than enough to escape the total annihilation of your ride. If your mech somehow survives whatever mess you got yourself into, you could in fact get back in, but since you have launched your seat, you will suffer permanent impaired condition when riding your mech like this until your next full repair. You also cannot eject until
Why was the 80s jazzercise the impaired?
Full repair afterward, because your ejection seat is gone.
Yeah.
When you are out of your mech, pilots follow a rather different set of rules. First, when you make an attack in mech combat, use your grid, not your trigger as bonus.
Okay.
Second, pilot counts as biological character, meaning you obviously cannot be hacked by tech action besides getting locked on and scanned. You still can get shot by drones or smart.
That's about accurate to how bad it is. Yeah, you can't be hacked, even if you are like a robot. They can't hack you. Different military hardware. And that grit thing is devastating because the narrative play you get your triggers, but that means at best you're going to even as an advanced dude, you're going to not have a good roll. This is really setting up to not get out of the mech, Sinji.
Weapons though, and when you take heat, you instead take an equivalent of energy damage. Third, when you are on the ground, you cannot use your talent to aid you or your allies that are still in their mechs. Your talents are effectively useless. Fourth, you can't cause mechs to be engaged, and you don't act as obstruction to them too.
Well, no shit.
As for what you can actually do, you still have a standard move and 2 quick actions or 1 full action, just like within your mech. You also have the following actions available to you, with some pilot-only additions. However, some of the base actions, like search and skill check, is a little different for pilots.
Okay.
When you are searching on foot, you can add bonuses from your trigger if appropriate.
Okay.
Also, you can only search hidden characters within range 5 from you, so it could get dangerously close. As for skill check, it's possible to use your triggers if they are relevant. Now, let's continue on these 3 pilots only actions. Fight is a full action in which you do exactly what it said. Basically, it's skirmish except for pilots, and you can only use 1 weapon with it. As you can see from its action cost, pilot really cannot deal damage effectively with this at all. But if you want to get up close and personal, you can also jockey a mech. Jockey is a full action that basically has you going, I'm going to wrestle with a giant robot, and fucking did just that. To jockey, you must be right besides an enemy mech.
That sounds terribly dangerous.
And do a contested check with your grid, or trigger if your GM allows it, against the mech's hull. On a success, you climb onto the mech, sharing its space. The mech can buck you off by passing another contested check with a full action, or you can just jump off the mech as part of your movement. When you are jockeying a mech, you can do one of the following. Distract, to make the mech impaired and slowed until the end of its next turn. Shred, to deal 2 heat to the mech. And damage, to deal 4 kinetic damage to it. On each of your subsequent turns, you can continue to pick one of the options as a full action to continue demolishing the mech as long as you are still jockeying it. In short, jockey is more potent as an offensive action than fight, but it's also way more dangerous. But hey, risk and reward. The last action is reload, which is a quick action to reload any of your pilot weapons with a loading tag. In conclusion, fighting as a pilot absolutely sucks, but if you have no choice but to fight, you might have a chance to win. However, if your mech has an AI system installed, you could walk out to fight and do other things while having your mech acting as your autonomous backup. To do so, you can turn the control of the mech over to your NHP as a protocol. You won't be able to do anything with.
Okay, so that's dangerous because generally NHPs are totally loyal and never have problems.
Your mech until the start of your next turn, but your mech will gain a set of actions and reaction of their own.
I would like to point out that when I mentioned that other mech, that would be where it was like, hey, what if H.P. Lovecraft was able to, knew about what computers were? Yeah, NHPs are also from that.
With this, you can do your own thing while commanding your mech from the outside as long as there's communication between the two of you. However, your NHP won't be able to benefit from your talents, so it might works a little less well, and to wrestle back the control, you need to get back in to do so as a protocol. And then there's also a little problem with NHP, which is that any mech that has one has a 1 out of 20 chance of going cascade whenever it takes a structure damage or overheating check. Basically, they are now out of control, which you can only retake by shutting them down, from the inside. If not,
nuke the entire site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
anyway, with all the fundamental rules on mech combat done,
Yeah, you don't want an NHP that's cascading in a Gundam. That is a very, very, very bad thing. Looked at.
your NHP won't be able to benefit from your talents, so it might works a little less well, and to wrestle back the control, you need to get back in to do so as a protocol. And then there's also a little problem with NHP, which is that any mech that has 1 out of 20 chance of going cascade whenever it takes a structure damage or overheating check. Basically, they are now out of control, which you can only retake by shutting them down, from the inside. If not,
nuke the entire site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Anyway, with all the fundamental rules on mech combat done, I suppose it's time to teach you how to make your own Lancer in the next episode. That's all for now, and I will see you all next time.
This dude is helping so much. Also, the other thing that I've done is I've printed out just the sections of the GM's book. I have in front of me the whole action economy section. Building the pilot.
Hello viewers and welcome to another episode of Lancer 101. After mentioning all sections of mech combat rules in Lancer, I think it's time for you to actually get ready for the RPG, by making a Lancer of your own. But first, I would like to recommend CompCon for making.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I use CompCon, like, I've made several Lancers, and I did the first couple with pencil and paper, and I fucked it up so bad. Yeah, CompCon, especially because it's free. Especially if you've already bought the book, it's free. And you can also download it, and, like, it just, after the way that Wizards has treated, like, basically how Wizards has treated us, seeing how these guys treat us is just shocking.
Your life easier. CompCon is a free open source tool set for Lancer, and one of its primary uses is building pilots and mechs.
Yep.
It is convenient. Just download it from the itch.io page, or go for the online version. Either way, links are below in the description. Anyway, let's get started. As with all character creation, you need a name and backstory.
Yep.
I'm going to set an example. My Lancer's name is Giorno Ramsey, born on planet
Dunkle Wälder, dunkler Flüssen, Schattenwelt.
a diasporan world, but everyone called it Bob because fuck that. Giorno Ramsey has a dream of being a master chef known throughout the known universe, but first, he required some experiences of actually being out of his world. So, he joined the auxiliary force of his home world, and became a soldier. It's most likely going to be a short tour that lasts a couple years. By the time he came out, he will have the experience, clout, and money for the best culinary college. What's the worst that could happen? It's not like a war will break out anytime soon. And then a war broke out.
Once again.
But even though he was sent to an active war, Giorno did not stop honing his cooking skill, despite the lack of suitable ingredients. Then one day, Giorno's squad managed to mission kill a mech out.
Okay, so I want, in at least in defense of culinary sciences, cellulose does actually have a point in food. It's dietary fiber, a safe dietary fiber. And considering recently I saw that apparently the average American gets less than 15 grams of fiber a day, closer to like 1 to 10. Yeah. My doctor has prescribed me 30 to 50.
Out of sheer luck.
Ugh.
The chassis was salvaged, and Giorno was chosen as its next pilot. Originally, he was a bit worried about being a giant target on the battlefront, but then he realized that being a damn good mech pilot could actually attract other things, like fame and influence. So, he did exactly just that, and hoped that by the time he ended his career as a Lancer, he could just waltz right into any culinary college to become a master chef, and maybe, stay alive too. So yeah, for background, you can pick one of the 20 set backgrounds, or roll a D20 dice because you couldn't pick one, or just...
Yeah, you can make like 4 picks. I just choose the backgrounds.
make shit up like I did. But the background alone won't actually do anything besides role-playing. To put it to actual use, you need triggers. Triggers could be best described as things your Lancer is good at. It's a mix of many things, like skills, personality, and personal belief in proper usage of violence. They can also be rather specific.
Apply fists to faces.
For example, apply fists to face is exactly that. You are good at applying fists to face. Unarmed melee brawl is a thing your character is good at. Assault, on the other hand, makes your character good at first-person shooter. They are entirely different things despite serving the same violence purpose. So, for a character at level 0, you can pick 4 triggers. For Giorno Ramsey, I will pick Charm, to present his charisma and speech.
Yeah, you start at level 0 and you go up to level 12. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc.
Skill, invent or create, for his cooking skill, assault, because he's a soldier after all, and show off, for the JoJo pose. In every trigger I pick, I basically get a +2 bonus when I get to use the triggers for a scenario. For example, a mob boss kidnapped one of Giorno's fellow pilots, and Giorno wanted to save them by treating the boss to a dish so good, he will let them go. With a +2 bonus from invent or create trigger, this gives the D20 roll an increased chance to succeed. Never mind, time to roll for violence. There's one extra thing you need to know about trigger: they do nothing when you are fighting against a mech, in your own or on foot. So keep that in mind. Now, let's...
Okay, so triggers, yeah, those are only used in narrative play. When you're in the mech and you're leveled up, you get talents, which are basically triggers in the mech, but they're specifically for mech stuff.
Let's pick what your Lancer will be wearing. Pilot gears are basically equipment for your pilots that can be separated into weapons, hard suits, and gears. So, weapons. A pilot can take up to 2 weapons of any types and any sizes, and you get 3 weapon types. Archaic weapons, 4 primitive weapons that are used more for their cultural and symbolic importance, alloy composite weapons, 4 melee weapons of a more civilized age, and signature weapons, 4 futuristic guns in preparation for upcoming violence. All you will get from this page is stats, and it's up to you to decide how your pilot weapons actually look and work like. For Giorno, he still preferred his standard issue knife and assault rifle. They are good, reliable, and workable. Onward to hard suits. Hard suits are basically space suits of the future that are way less bulky and practical for any situations. As a reminder, this is your pilot stat when they aren't wearing their hard suit. Picking a hard suit could change or add to these stats. There are 5 types of hard suits, and let me just say this quickly: this one is fast, this one is standard, this one is heavy, this one can fly, and this one can turn invisible. Giorno, just gonna take the standard issue hard suit supplied by his force, though he did decorate it with some charms of his own. Next up, gears.
Yeah, if you also notice the shield section, that's an armor. The assault one gets a +1 to their armor, but you also notice the evasion and E-defense went down to 8, which means while you're wearing the suit of armor, you take 1 less point of damage from anything you roll, but the DCs to hit you are 8 instead of 10.
I'm not even going to describe what any of these do. Some gears are useful for combat, but most work only for role-playing scenarios, and as such their usefulness depends on how creative everyone in your group is. Anyway, for Giorno, he has sound systems, because where exactly do you think the music came from? Tertiary arm, because extra hands help in cooking, and extra rations, because he always make extra. When you level up as a pilot, you gain an additional point for trigger for each level up. You can either pick to improve one of your current triggers, or get a new one. And that's about it for pilot creation in Lancer. In the next episode, Giorno Ramsey is getting a mech. Until then, I will see you all next time.
Yeah, mech creation, you start out with the Everest, which I like the simple fact that your starter mech is generic and can be, like, it can fill any role, and it can go all the way up to 12, and still be a damn good mech. But it's also, all of its bonuses are really easy to use, so you learn. Yeah, next one. Man, good dad. Oh. Unaware that I did not have.
Hello viewers and welcome to another episode of Lancer 101. This is what you all have been waiting for, the true gem in Lancer. It's time to build your own goddamn mech.
Get in the mech, Sinji.
Now, let's take a look back at Giorno Ramsey, who is still at level 0. In previous episode, I have talked about the background, triggers, and pilot gears. You will also get 2 mech skill points, 3 rank 1 talents, and the entire GMS gear selection along with the Everest license at level 0. So, let's talk about mech skill first. Mech skill is basically how your pilot prefers your mech to function in various attributes, such as how tough it is, how fast it is, and other things like that. There are 4 mech skills: hull, agility, systems, and engineering.
Yeah. Hull, how to be tough. Agility, how to go fast. Systems, they're all of the weird electronic warfare stuff and extra patch add-on things. Engineering, less weird, but also more reactor stuff. Also, like, as I recall, engineering is oftentimes used in countermeasures and systems are used.
Hull gives you plus 2 HP for each point and plus 1 repair cap for 2. Agility gives you plus 1 evasion for each and plus 1 speed for 2. Systems gives you plus 1 e-defense and tech attack for each and plus 1 system point for 2. And engineering gives you plus 1 heat cap for each and plus 1 limited charge for everything with limited tag for 2. And each
Nice.
time you level up, you get another mech skill point, so you can get quite a lot of it rather quickly. Personal advice: don't put all your points into one mech skill, spread them out a little so you don't immediately get wrecked in situation your mech isn't built for. Also, put some points into hull or engineering so you don't die quickly. For Giorno, I'm going to put both of my points into hull because he doesn't want to bloody die. Next, talents. Talents are basically what your pilot is good at with their mech, such as close range combat, picking people from afar, experimenting new weapons, or you just want more damage. I have made an entire series on talents already, so watch that if you have questions on them. Giorno will be getting 1 point in skirmisher, 1 point in infiltrator.
Yeah, the talent systems, the best way I can describe it is, it basically, you use your talents to choose what, in D&D would be choosing your class. So, like, it just unlocks, like, what you do in your. It also unlocks other systems, other actions that you can only take if you have those talents.
And 1 point in hunter. This is going to be a rather sneaky, stealthy build. Also, at level 0, you can only get rank 1 in talent, so
Yeah.
you cannot put 2 points into the same talent, yet. Like mech skill, when you level up, you also get 1 talent point that you can put in anywhere. Now, let's build the goddamn mech. As I have mentioned
Sinji.
before, as soon as you start, you will be getting everything from General Massive System for free. This does not mean weapons and gears from General Massive System are beginner weapons that you should discard as soon as possible. No, they are perfectly viable even at late game, they are simply less specialized. Let's start with the Everest. As you
Yeah, GMS isn't. Yeah, they just aren't complicated. Neither is a shotgun.
You can see, the points into hull mech skill are already helping, as I would be at 10 health points instead of 14 had I not put it there. Also, everything about Everest is that it's average, so it's good at any build that you could think of. Let's pick the weapons for this Everest. On weapon mounts, there's a few types. Main, heavy, and double auxiliary mounts are self-explanatory. You can also mount any weapons of smaller class in larger mount, but who the hell would do that? Main/auxiliary mount is also quite self-explanatory and could make for some interesting build options. And finally, flexible mount, named as such because you can put either main or two auxiliary weapons in it. There's also integrated mount, which is for weapons already integrated with a mech that also cannot be destroyed at all. And to mount super heavy weapons, you need a heavy mount, and sacrifice one additional mount for bracing, so there's a massive cost in getting a super heavy weapon. Everest has a main, a flex, and a heavy. So you can absolutely put in the starting super heavy weapon, the Cyclone Pulse Rifle, in it, but I'm not going to do that. I will instead pick something to complement it. In the flex mount, I'm getting two tactical knives, to focus on the hunter talent. Since Giorno will be fighting at close combat.
Okay, yeah, so one of the things is you can take two quick actions, but like say for instance you got a gun, you can only go shoot once, but if you want to take two quick actions, you gotta have two guns. If that's what you want to do. So that's why I got two guns.
Shotgun would be nice in the main mount. As for heavy mount, I have no idea, so I'm getting a goddamn howitzer because nothing says ambush like an artillery bombardment. Now, onto system points. Every single mech has different system points, which you can use to shove in systems that can aid you in battle.
Yep.
Some really good weapons might need a system point or two too. You can also increase system points with points in systems mech skill. Wow, that's a bit redundant, and from leveling up by getting grit, which I will talk about later. The Everest has 6 base system points and I will get systems that help in close combat. Stable structure, so I don't get knocked down, which is very bad in every situation.
Yeah.
Type 3 projected shield, so I get shot less while running towards my target. Custom paint job, because every mech ace needs one. And personalization because Giorno, who wished to hone his cooking skill even in a war zone, has requested a printer that can print bread.
But printer cannot print food and cannot.
I don't give a shit.
It just works.
Also, 2 more health points for more survivability.
I haven't seen anything in the canon that says that actually that they can't print food.
Anyway, that's Giorno's Everest at level 0. So how does his mech evolve when he's level 3? Now, each time you level up, other than the 1 point in triggers, mech skill, or talents, you also get 1 license point per level, plus 1 grit for every 2 levels, and 1 core bonus for 3. So, license, this is where the fun begins in customizing your mech. You see, in every single mech license, there's 3 parts to each of them. So when you put 1 point into the license, you actually only get the first part of the license. To get all of it, you need 3 points. But you also don't need all 3 points to get the mech because the second part of the license gives it to you. As for grit, grit stands for how good your pilot is at fighting from the experience they have accumulated.
Okay, yeah, so license, you have to, it's not like you're not buying it from the, company, you're buying that specific mech.
The grit you have is half of your level and rounded up. Or just look at this level chart.
Yeah.
Grit is applied straight to your health point, attack bonus, save target, and even system point, meaning, grit is incredibly useful in just about everything. And finally, core bonuses are powerful modifications that you can apply to your mech. General massive system ones are handed to you for free, but to get core bonuses from the companies, you need to invest 3 license points in them, and that's only for 1 core bonus, so if you want more, you need to invest 3 more again. So, at level 3, Giorno would get 3 additional points in triggers, mech skills, talents, license, along with 2 grit and 1 core bonus. Anyway, this is Giorno level 3 build, in his brand new morning cloak that I have made to be a close range, stealthy, hacker and slasher build. First, for his mech skill, I have put in 1 point in system and 2 in engineering. The system is so I could hack better, the E-defense is just a bonus. The engineering is to keep me from getting cooked alive because Morning Cloak has barely any heat capacity. For talents, I just ranked up all 3 of my current talents so Giorno could do
Yeah.
better at his role. As for the license, I have picked up rank 2 of Morning Cloak license.
Yeah, I've seen from the talents, best to just choose what you're going to do early on and just stay in your talents. Because as you unlock the further levels, you typically just get better at whatever you're choosing.
And rank 1 of Metal Mark license. Morning Cloak is a mech made to deal with lonely character, which will be my primary target, along with a massive sensor range that I can abuse for tech action. But I don't need everything from Morning Cloak, and just 1 rank into Metal Mark license will get me systems that can aid me quite well. With these 3 points into Smith Shimano Core Pro, Giorno gets to have one of their core bonuses at level 3. I picked full subjectivity sync, because you can't take damage if you don't get hit. So, onto Giorno's personal Morning Cloak.
Space Jam.
As you can see from here, the mech skill has boosted its stat quite a bit, especially in increasing its heat capacity by 50%. You might be asking why I'm so worried about the heat cap. That's because not only is heat another resource to use in combat for overcharging and using systems with heat cost, every single enemy on board that isn't people or animal can invade you for 2 heat. And if your E defense is shit, you might get invaded a lot more than you like. For its weapons, Morning Cloak has a flex and main/auxiliary mounts. I put 2 fold knives, which came from Morning Cloak rank 1 license, into the flex mount, so I could dash away from my target easily. As for the main/auxiliary mount, I have put in GMS Nexus for both slots, because they share the same range band, and because nothing is more surprising than goddamn bees. Also, they are smart, so enemies with low E defense are going to have troubles. As for the systems, this is where the
Nexus things, you just fire a swarm of nanites at somebody to tear them apart.
1 point in Metal Mark license gets really helpful. First, Hunter Logic Suite, to upgrade my invade action for more flexibility. Flash Charges, to disrupt any ranged strikers from attacking effectively. Singularity Motivator, so if I ever get hit, I just quickly retreat. Reactive Weave, for rare situations where I get focused on so I could turn invisible and sneak out. And finally, Personalization, for the bread. This is basically a build made for maximum shenanigans and giving as many enemies negative statuses and conditions as possible while maintaining a certain level of survivability.
Okay.
The problem is that Giorno won't be able to deal lots of damage with this build, which might be a good thing because then the enemies won't be focusing on him. I could exchange the core bonus for overpower caliber, but I'm sacrificing survivability in the process, or I could just make a stealth build with an entirely different mech. And that's the fun in customizing your mech in Lancer. If things don't work, just tweak it. In fact, if you don't like your build, just throw things out completely. Every time you level up, you can choose one of the following options and just change your build dramatically. And that's everything you need to know about mech creation, and with the series done, everything else in Lancer too. Anyway, go have fun making your own pilots and mechs.
Yeah, when you level up, you can just, it's kind of a forgiving thing. It's like, oh, I fucked up, so yeah, let's not do that. Let's just reset. Let's just reset.
I will see you all next time.
Stop. Thank you. What are we got? Let's core bonus horse. Let's just see what the core bonus horse. Stop. Pre-release 2 Lancer Beta Court, but yeah, it probably. Yeah, that one. Yeah, this one's going to be a parody. Because I've got it post-release, and versus
Hello viewers and welcome to another episode of Lancer 101. In today's topic, I will be talking about Horus core bonuses. Now, when you have invested enough points in Horus, you are probably into some weird shits. I mean, that's pretty much what Horus is about. But in general, Horus core bonuses are for aiding you in hacking or being an annoying troll. It's really hard to explain in summary, but that's what this video is for, right? Starting off with the lesson of disbelief, you not only gain accuracy bonuses on system check and save, but you also get +2 defense. An excellent core bonus to defend against tech attack. The lesson of the open door on the other hand increase your save target, and make your target take +2 heat when failing a save roll against you once per round. What's save target? Well, it's better to explain save target as the number and how hard you fuck over your opponent. Besides attacking roll, there's check and save. Both are required to roll to not get screwed over by specific talents, systems or weapons. Check just needs the defender to roll equal or over a 10, which means they can succeed half of the time. Save instead needs the defender to roll much higher, as a player save number can be increased by grit up to +6. Counting in the core bonus and a few specific mechs, you get a mech that can fuck over everyone because they can never pass their save rolls from you. The lesson of the held image lets you make a lock-on tech action against anyone within your sensor range as a reaction to the start of your ally turn. Since lock-on can now be applied successfully with 100% success chance, this is super good. The lesson of transubstantiation takes a turn in the weirdness as it throws you out of existence when your mech loses a structure point. This prevents you from being targeted by enemies again until the start of your next turn, in which you pop back into existence.
So I think these are outdated. But yeah, that there is some things where literally you just stop existing. Like, oh, okay, and then you exist again. Horus, weird.
Since right at where you were gone from. If that's not possible because some asshole is blocking the way, you pop as close to your original position as possible. Use this when you are expecting to receive lots of damage. The lesson of thinking tomorrow's thought gives your next melee attack a +1 accuracy with its damage and capable of being reduced by any means possible as long as you successfully hit the target with a tech attack first. This core bone.
Yeah, so that's not really a joke, thinking tomorrow's thoughts. Horus would allow you to be able to think of what you're going to be thinking tomorrow today. This isn't planning. This is the thoughts of tomorrow popping into your head. That's why you're able to avoid these damages. You see it coming and then you change reality preemptively.
Bonus is made specifically for melee hacker build. Use it if you are making one. Finally, you get the lesson of shaping. You get to shove 2 NHP up your mech. Specifically, you get to have 2 systems with AI tag. If one gets unshackled, the other one just takes back the control. So, if you like NHP a lot, get this core bonus.
Yeah.
Well, that's all for now on Horus core bonus, and I will see you all next time.
Alright. So, yeah. With that, yeah, so like I said, did print out the section in the book on actions. You automatically get 1 move, and you have to pick between a full or 2 quicks. You got your standard move, your quick actions. Free actions can be either done via talents or mech systems. You can have a thing that gives it to where you get a boost as a free action. Or another free action is anytime, like one of the mechs I built, anytime someone tried to lock onto me, I got a free action to do some things to them. And then there's reactions. Reactions, this is like in D&D where it's complicated. Reactions are special. They are made out of the usual turn of order. Each reaction can only be used a certain number of times per round. And a character can take only 1 reaction per turn, either their turn or of another character, per battle sequence. So, like, as your initiative order, you can technically take your reaction, like, every time in response to somebody else if you actually have the reaction, if the cues are actually met. Brace and Overwatch are examples that everybody get. Brace is you brace for damage. You can only do that once per round. And Overwatch is like in 40k. Someone strays into your area of effect and you just spray and pray. Under the attacks, you can do melee, ranged, or tech. And they can either be quick or full. This is something that's different from my other the other systems I'm used to playing. So we're rolling a d20 for our attack rolls. If you get a 20 plus, which includes dirty 20s, that is a crit. All damage roll dice are rolled twice, and you take the highest. You've got range and patterns, which attacks have line, code, targeted, blast, or burst. That kind of makes sense. Threat is the maximum range at which a melee weapon can be used. The edge of the character. Quick actions. Boost, grapple, hide, quick tech, ram, search, and skirmish. Full actions are barrage, disengage, full tech, improvised attack, stabilize. When you stabilize, you enact emergency protocols. Clear all heat and exposure. Mark 1 repair and restore all hit points. You can choose one of the following. Reload all loading, clear any burn, clear an allied adjacent conditions. Then there's prepare, which is a ready action. That's a special action. And you can do skill checks, which is full action. So yeah. With that, I have gone over another section. I have kept another promise to myself. So I want to end this stream. And I will load it up to the VOD. Figure out how to do more editing stuff on that. And with that, I guess, good fight. Good night. Thank you for coming. You watched. And if you see this on YouTube, hello. See you later.